Cobb. I think this main event is to have that heel face dynamic again. The threat will still be there though, because remember, Evil has won these types of matches before when we did not think he would. Remember the Naito thing during the pandemic? We did not think he was going to beat Naito coming out of that. But so there's a little bit of jeopardy here. Again, I don't think that Moxley's going to lose, but you can't be totally sure. Mox has been running through the top House of Torture guys. He beat Narita. Now he's facing Evil. He says he'll destroy House of Torture. I'm not sure that'll happen. I feel like if they fail again, then something should change with House of Torture. But he also says he's bringing friends for a gang war.
Take a glass of water. I'll take over for a second.
Well, friends plural, not just sure.
There are a few people that could show up, but at the same time, you could have a few of these build-up matches going into Dominion. There is an aspect of this, though, that even though Moxley defeated Naito, he's got to have some type of statement win against the signature New Japan talent during this run. And while Ren Narita and Shota Umino are credible, they're still up-and-comers and not established or former IWGP champions or people at this run right now. And Moxley having this match with Evil is kind of more or less, a solidifying factor in his run, because they're talking about his title defenses and how many he's had and how prolific it's been in the last. It's like, sure, whatever. The caliber of these matches are not at the level of all IWGP matches, even though they're very, very good. This just feels like a credibility match so that Moxley's reign doesn't feel like he's just facing the Reiwa and a couple of light challenges.
Well, and again, you get the whole thing where the whole crowd's going to be behind him.
Yes.
And that's going to be important. So what we're looking at here, too. Okay. Dunstan, by the way, he says, I thought the main event was great and really did feel like Shota brought everything out of his bag. I thought so, too. Now it's time for him to have a new version of himself. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe a new haircut?
Maybe. And I also think that Shota Umino is somebody to take seriously in the G1 as far as maybe making it out of the block play. Maybe not winning it, but making it out of the block play. That's a possibility. USVA guy has a take. He said, Evil was wonderful. The heat is off the charts. House of Torture is getting sympathy now from American fans. Not sure what color the sky is in that world. But we're going to talk about that, because is this a good move for them? We've got some interesting data. Not scientific data by anything. And Dunstan mentions it. Here it goes. Let's go right to it, Jeremy. Because Dunstan mentions it. Even Kadani is questioning this main event after the poll. So talk to us about this poll, Jeremy.
Okay, so I stumbled on something the other day, and there was a random poll from boy_NJPW, and he asked on June 9th, which one is more suitable to be the main event at Osaka Castle Hall for Dominion. 80% of the 350 votes chose the Best of Super Juniors final over the IWGP Championship, which was 15%. This in and of itself is curious. What is even more curious is Kadani, the president of New Japan, responding to this with a quote tweet saying, "We must take this result seriously."
So we don't really know what that means, of course, and it's certainly an unscientific poll. I mean, it's one Twitter poll with 350 people, and the internet wrestling community is not wrestling fans. It's not representative of wrestling fans. So it's interesting to see there, but it is interesting that Kadani said something about it. That is worth paying attention to.
And right, you mentioned on the website, what was interesting about the website?
The website has the card listed for Dominion, and it does have the Best of Super Juniors at the bottom of it. And the rest of the card feels like a card. Now, the NJPW website is a mess at the moment. There are issues with it. It's in
medium.com.
Yeah, it's a mess. So the card, though, it's not set up match 1, 2, 3, 4 like it often is when everything's working right. But it does seem to be in the order from starting at the top with the 4-way tag team title match. We're going to read them off here in a bit. Going down to the Never title match, and then the IWGP title match.
TV title. There's a KOPW. There's a TV title match.
In descending order, the way you would think there's a card at the very bottom of that is now the Best of the Super Juniors finals. Doesn't mean that is officially the main event. We're not saying that, but it is something to keep an eye on, as Kadani has noted some dissatisfaction apparently from the populace. And that, again, you mentioned it, for the folks that are listening to this as a podcast, that's not just from America. That poll was in Japanese, and so that we're thinking that's a lot of Japanese fans that are voting in that direction. Again, just a bunch of wrestling fans on X is not representative of wrestling fans.
This is the best way I can put this, right? Is that I am not sure if this is news or noise. And by next week, we might have a more serious conversation about whether this is news or